Hey everybody, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Let's talk about it tonight. Let's talk about it tonight. A lot of stuff going on right now. A whole lot of messy stuff going on in the church world and in the secularism. You know what's happening in the Bay right now. We got some stuff going on. We just want to talk about it tonight. We just want to just maybe do a little laugh and just clown and just talk about what's happening around us. You know, what's the state of the union, the state of life right now. You know, what's actually going on. It's a lot going on, and so we got the current events happening right here in the Bay, right here in the Bay in California. You know, we got a situation that's brewing right now. Um, do me a favor. Uh, do me a favor. Thank you for coming on, Alex Aiden. Um, do me a favor. Just comment, let me know so as I can't see who coming on like we can in Facebook. Uh, you know, like in Facebook, you know, we could see who actually coming on since I'm on my platform. I'm talking on my platform, on my streaming platform. So I can't see off the cuff who actually is coming on. But at any rate, just comment and let me know you here with me, so we could talk about it. I want to hear from y'all. I want to hear y'all comment and talk to me and let me know what y'all think about what's going on. I would like to play this video, but I just don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it yet. Well, I could, it's a lot of stuff I don't know how to do yet. But I want to play this video of this preacher. Play this video of this preacher, this pastor over at the 2819 church, and foolishness he up there doing, saying, they riled up black folk across the country, got us all in an uproar. Got us all in an uproar over his statements in the pulpit on a Sunday morning. Um, on a Sunday morning, I don't know if it was this Sunday morning or if it was I don't know if it was this Sunday morning or if it was last Sunday morning, because you see videos and videos be you just never know when the video came out. But I'm assuming that it was this Sunday morning that just passed, or maybe it was last Sunday morning. But he gets up in the pulpit and he makes a statement, and he says something to the effect of he's preaching. I'm assuming, um, just from my theological perspective, I'm assuming he was possibly dealing with First Timothy 1:9, and I believe in Romans over there, and around the first chapter of Romans, I think. I believe he was talking about that. I don't know exactly his scripture context, but he was talking about stop blaming white police officers for killing our kids. That's crazy. Stop blaming white police officers for killing our kids. And so he set off a bonfire with that, because folks got to coming out. Folks is just got a real attitude about that, and it's that type of behavior that as some of you quoted, that kept us in slavery for so long. We always got a gatekeeper. White folks always got a gatekeeper. They always got a black man that they use to gatekeep and to keep us in line and keep us in order. It's always one. It's always one. They have multiple of them to do certain things to calm us in storms, and when things start to get out of control, things start to go haywire. They can't get their way. Excuse me. They can't get their way. So they do little things. They put people in position to calm us down and to stroke us and to make us be quiet. And so this is no different. This is no different. And we've been talking about it amongst some of us in ministry. We've been talking about the talking points. A lot of his talking points are evangelical talking points. And anybody that know the evangelicals is the racist church in the country right now, probably in the world. If you ask me, those people are the reason um, we have slavery. It was Christopher Columbus, uh, his ideology and his position and his thinking uh, about Christianity, his attitude about Christianity, and this progressive, not even progressive, but this dogmatic approach to make folk conform to this Christian identity by any means necessary. And so he came into this new world that was already a founded society, already very much established with human beings that was indigenous to the land. And so he came in with this ideology to actually uh, uh, bring people into uh, a greater truth, if you will. And he, uh, he propagated this ideology that we are going to make them be Christians. And so if you look at the historical construct around Christopher Columbus's ideology, you start to see a brand of Christian uh, ideology starts to form out of Christopher Columbus's thought patterns, and so we start moving through history, and um, you got to understand that before anything happens that's going to happen in any world system, there has to be a religious base and a religious system that is put into play to make this system happen and make this system work. And so it is these religious folk that sanctioned and gave the green light to make slavery be okay as they were setting up the system. They nothing happens in this world without God or somebody's ideology of God being at the center of their movement or their process of thinking. You're never going to have nothing that doesn't have some theological construct that nothing in this world and in these world systems that involve humanity, they're always going to have uh, a God consciousness. And hear me say, that's not to say that it's our God, but it's a God. And so the ideology or the system that they put in place, they had to have it sanctioned by some theological mindset. And so they did. So they established it. So they established it, they put the rules in effect, and then they started pushing the agenda of slavery. And it was these evangelical um, preachers that actually set the stage for slavery. and set the stage for a system that would take and uproot a people and destroy and pillage and just do all of these things that were so evil to other humans. And so they progressed through. So and what they did in this process is they put people in place. They start putting people in place to uh, police us and to control us and to the master never really just dealt directly with um, the slaves. He put somebody that looked like the slaves in front of the slaves. Nat Turner's preaching, and hear me say this, y'all. Nat Turner was forced to preach like that. That wasn't something that he was interested in doing. He was forced to preach these messages that that slavery, that the slave masters took out of the Bible, scriptures out of the Bible, and they used these scriptures to justify their position. And so Nat Turner was forced to preach these messages. They used Nat Turner as an evangelist for their racist um, preaching, their racist doctrinal system. And so Nat Turner was an evangelist for that system. So they would make Nat Turner go and preach these things from plantation to plantation. And he traveled all over the United States preaching these sermons that pushed their ideology, the white man's theology, and this agenda. And so I'm just looking at some of these comments. So they forced Nat Turner to preach these messages, and so Nat Turner would go out and he would preach these sermons and push this agenda. But when Nat Turner preached to the people in the black church, in the churches and without master around, Nat Turner didn't preach those type of sermons. He preached the gospel. He preached sermons that built the faith. Hey, Paula. He preached sermons that built the faith of the people, and gave them some level of hope. But how could you have hope in that situation? So we got these gatekeepers. We got these fellas that are set up and put in position. So now let's look at the history of this brother. I can't even think of his name. I don't really even care to even mention his name. I'll just mention the name of the church, and it's was it 2819 Church. So he gets up and he makes this statement, and the statement is really challenging to us as a people. Stop blaming white police officers for killing black kids. Okay, well, then he goes on to say, teach your kids to obey authority. Teach your kids to obey authority. Okay, let's just say he's right. Let's just say he's right. And we do have to respect authority. There's no reason for us not to respect authority. And we have to respect authority in every facet of life. We have to be cognizant and mindful of those that are in positions of power. And so we got to respect authority. But we don't have to obey authority in the context on how he presented it. Authority needs to respect those that they have authority over. You can't be disrespectful, and you can't break the code and the ethics of authority and expect me to submit to that. You can't do that. You can't put your spin and your ideology or your way of thinking into the mix and think that I'm going to just bow down and accept this as a way that I should go. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And so we gotta put these things in their proper perspective if you're gonna deal with them. Now the scripture, the Bible talks about it, and I have to go there and I have to deal with the premise of his thought. The law is for the lawless, and so if the law is in place to do what? It's in place to keep you in order. It's in place to keep order in our world, to keep order, keep people from being lawless and not respecting the system that's in place to carry us through on a day-to-day basis. We can't get around that. We cannot at all get around that piece of the puzzle. So we gotta deal with that. We gotta talk about that. We gotta deal with that. So I didn't even want to even bring scripture context into this today, but I have to if I'm gonna talk about him. So he and I don't know what scripture he used. I don't know what scripture he used. Off the cuff, I could say that he was over in 1 Timothy 1:9, and I'll read that for you. I'll read that for you so we can understand what he was talking about. Because we can't have this type of stuff being said and think it's okay. It's not okay for anybody to kill us. It's not okay. It's not okay for anybody to be disrespectful to us. And this is what's been happening to us in America for centuries. This is normal behavior. This is normal behavior. What happens to us in America as Black people. So 1 Timothy 1:9 says it like this. It says, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly, for sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons. And if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine. According to the verse 11 says, according to the glorious gospel of the blessed God, which was committed to my trust. So he's saying to us, he said, the law was written for people who are sexual perverts or who live as homosexuals or are kidnappers or liars or won't tell the truth in court. It is for anything else that opposes the correct teaching of the good news that the glorious and wonderful God has given me. So this is Paul writing a letter to Timothy, and he's talking to Timothy about um, what was actually happening in Timothy's world. So this is what we call in theology. It's called the Sitzum Leben, and so the Sitzum Leben uh, uh, tells us and shows us what is actually happening at the moment, at that time, in that world, in that system. What is actually going on, and what's the thought, and what's the meaning of life at that moment. So Paul is sharing with Timothy what is actually happening at that moment, and what's going on. And so uh, he's not mincing his words. He's actually very poignant. Uh, he has some level of inflection in his tone. His mood is a mood that is in some way agitated. So he's telling them. Look what he says. Look at what he says in verse 4. He says, "You need to warn them." He's admonishing Timothy to deal with what was actually happening in the system, in the world, the Sitzum Leben, what's actually happening. And so we can take this moment, and we could live this moment, and talk about what is actually happening in our world, and what is happening. We have we have a very volatile system right now. We have a system that is you talking about a thin line between love and hate. We have a system that's right now that is teetering on uh, exploding, and literally coming to a serious head. And so Paul is addressing uh, this issue. And so the brother was up addressing the issue, and he was addressing it from this perspective. He was in what I call the Sitzim Leben. He was in what I call the Sitzim Leben. He was not what I call it. What theologians, what we call it in study. And so he was in that mode. And so, but his mode and his position, he took and he chose to take it in a direction that he shouldn't have taken it in publicly. Now, this brother's talking points, all of his talking points seem to be, evangelical talking points. He seems to be very much connected to this system, this evangelical system, and what I told you about earlier. So he seems to be very much connected to this. He went to Rob Parsley's seminary. Um, he was groomed by evangelicals. He was put in that position. I don't know if they gave him the money to launch his church. I don't really know what his full affiliation would have been, but just based on his current set of movement, it just seems that he's very much in the bed with those guys. I mean, so much so that he gave a white couple $50,000 because they moved, and I mean, this is what we do. We be a blessing, but black folk move too. Um, Black folk move too. So black folk, move too. So why he ain't gave black folks $50,000? But I mean, let me stop that. Let me stop that. I don't know the circumstances around why that's his church, and he do what he do the way he do it. But okay, so we don't use these talking points. We don't get up and tell people to obey them that have authority over you, and it's not in the proper contextual space. Like I said, I'm not going to give nobody respect when they're giving me disrespect. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna give nobody respect when they give me disrespect. I'm not gonna give him. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I am not gonna give a joker respect when he giving me disrespect. I'm not going for that. So, but this is the stuff that we run into. This is the stuff we run into. We run into these scenarios where um, we get pulled over for nothing because we black. We get harassed. We get put in situations. And police have said it. I just watched the interview with a bunch of police officers last week, a week or two ago, and they talked about when they under pressure. Watch this. When they under pressure to do certain things, the first people they go to, they under pressure to make arrests. They under pressure to write tickets. They under pressure to catch a criminal. The first place they go to, and this is what they said, they go to the ones that are unprotected. And this is what they said out their mouth. They go to the black people. They go to the black community. They go over there to where those people don't have no support. They know they can't go over to the white boys because they're gonna make one phone call and all of their movement gonna be shut down the next day. We don't have nobody that's talking for us, that's backing us up, that's standing strong, that can shut this down. So the judicial system is is um is fixed against us. It's not built for us. So these guys know this, and they know they can come down to our community. They can pull us over. Just case in point. Watch this. It was a black woman that was having a mental illness. She was struggling with mental illness, and she was having a psychotic break. And so the police officer, he came on the scene. He came on the scene. He went to talk to her. He didn't handle the situation professionally. He smashed on the lady, slammed her on the ground. She started screaming. She was already having an psychotic break, and she started screaming and she kicking at the man. He got tired of her kicking and took his gun out and gunned her down and shot her multiple times. How's she on the ground and you hollering, you fearing for your life, so you just pull your gun out and shoot this woman? You could see the way he did it. It was just like, I'm sick of her kicking, and he's frustrated. So he pulled his gun out and he kills her. She's having a psychotic break. So in her mental state, she's not concerned at all about respecting or obeying authority. Now, if I'm going to use this scripture as my premise, if I'm a righteous man and I'm driving down the street, and righteous in this context that I'm talking about don't necessarily mean that you in right standing with God. We're just talking about righteousness, meaning that you are legitimately a law-abiding citizen. You are not in any way doing anything criminal. You are literally driving down the street. You drive in the speed limit. You have all of the identifying pieces of paper. You got a driver's license. You got insurance. You have everything you need, but they don't know that because you just drive it in the car. And he decides he wants to pull you over, and he gives you some lame excuse as to why he pulled you over, and you're able to break down his story and show that he's lying and show that you have not done anything at all illegal. And then he starts to harass you, and he comes at you in this caustic way. He has attitude. His tone is inflected. He's hostile. He's not. What's the word we want to use when you start to bring de-escalating? He's actually escalating the situation. What am I supposed to do? I'm trying to be compliant, and he's escalating the situation with his attitude. He's violated my rights. He's done everything contrary to the department's rules and regulations. He's done everything contrary to my Fourth Amendment. He's done everything contrary, and you want me to do what? I'm obeying. And then he decides he wants to put hands on me. He decides he wants, what do we do when we're doing what's right and we still get disrespected and treated with disdain? What are we supposed to do? Do we just keep complying? Do we just keep, should I fight back if he decides he wants to bust me upside my head? Well, I mean, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Do we supposed to just take it and just accept, his abuse? What are we supposed to do? Now, as a man, I do want to come home to my family. I do want to make, and some people just say you just take it and deal with it in court, but the courts don't do nothing for you. What you going to do? You're going to go into court and tell the court what? The police officer did such and such. We've seen it time and time again, what happens in court with police and black people. It means nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. No. So the next story I want to talk about is the young boy in Georgia, I believe it is, that was in jail on $1 million bond for defending himself against a white football player who was a bully. And he stabbed a young man, and the young man died. Well, he was in jail on $1 million bond. White people was just totally enraged. They were mad because we were raising him money for his defense. They threatened to shut down, what's that company that handled the money? I can't think of their name. GoFundMe. They threatened GoFundMe and bullied GoFundMe to GoFundMe. I believe GoFundMe decided that they was not going to facilitate the donations for him. I believe we raised him somewhere around $500,000 for his defense. And white folks, they were just livid that, that he killed a white boy. A black boy murdered a white boy. They didn't care about, what the white boy did to him. And watch this. The white boy's daddy said that his son decided to go down there anyway, even after the young man declared that he would defend himself. The young man declared that he would defend himself. He was not going to let these guys keep bullying him and keep doing whatever. He declared that I'm going to defend myself. So he did just that. He defended himself. We're sorry that the young man lost his life. And the young man did lose his life. The young man died. They just had his funeral. I believe it was Sunday. But hey, you can't go around being a bully and thinking it's okay. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't go around being a bully and thinking it's okay and thinking you can just beat up on people and thinking you can just have it your way and do whatever you want to do to people, and people just gonna bow down to you, and you know it's okay. It don't work like that. The young man had every right to be in that tent. He had every right to be where he was at, and he killed him. I think the young man's name is Carmelo Anthony. So watch this. We've seen it over and over and over and over again. We've seen it over and over and over again. White people. You've seen it over and over and over again. White people get out on bail. White people, you know, a white woman. Watch this. A white woman just got a $25,000 bail. A white nurse that was at the hospital breaking black babies' bones. She was breaking black babies' bones, y'all, breaking their arms and legs, and and she got a $25,000 bail. White folks is okay with that. So they had the black boy Carmelo Anthony's bail set at $1 million. And he had a black judge who went before a black judge, and the black judge dropped his bail down to $250,000, and the young man was out of jail the next day. They white folks was calling for her head. They calling for her to lose her job. She's a piece of crap. She's this. I mean, it's just, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And so, logic is pointless against racism. They don't care how much sense you make. They don't care how much sense you make. Racism itself is inherently illogical. It's hypocritical and contradictory. It's just simply hate. Logic means nothing to a white racist person. I mean, I'm supposed to just let you behave how you want to behave. And because I'm black, I don't have no rights. I'm supposed to just let you do whatever the hell you want to do to me. Say whatever the hell you want to say to me. Take my seat from me. Bully me. Do whatever you want to me. And I'm supposed to just take it. Black folks have always carried the burden of racism, the burden of white supremacy. We've always carried the burden of we've been made to carry the burden of it. You are not supposed to be able to stand your ground, push back against injustices against you. You do this to me, and I'm supposed to just, take it. Live my life under your stressors, if you will. You do whatever you want to do to me. I can't say nothing. Well, I just gotta take it. This is part of what Project 2025 was about. I tried to get us together and understand what Project 2025 was all about. Couldn't get that much support, or nobody really was interested in really listening to it and talking about it and even reading about it. Nobody cared, seemed like. So now they've been carrying out a lot of what they say. They've rewritten and taken clauses out where it used to be, It used to be, it was illegal for you to uh, have posted up in front of your building whites only. If you was a a contractor trying to do government work, you couldn't have whites only. This is a whites only establishment. You had to, you know, take those signs down. Well, basically, they removed that clause. So now, if you want to be, you know, that one, because one of these white boys is gonna be bold enough, and they're gonna do it, and they're gonna say it, they're gonna do it. But now they got it. If you want to do that and you want to say it, they made it where it's okay. If you want to say it, you can say it. You could do it if you want to. It's not going to be a socially appreciated. People are not going to take kindly to it, but you're not going to lose your contract, your government contract, if you say it. Your contract will still be in place. You still will have access to government funding and government um, ancillary benefits. You still will have all of that access to that. It used to be where if you acted a certain way, you lose access to that because they they were not going to allow you to be this way and still get government funding. Not anymore. Not anymore. They could literally say this is a whites only establishment. And the diametric to that is I could say this is a black only establishment. But we never could do that. They could say it's a whites only establishment and we had to abide by that, but we never could say it's a black only establishment. American Bandstand back in the days wouldn't let black folk on American Bandstand, but Soul Train, they let white folks come on Soul Train. Don Cornelius and them didn't prevent the white girls from coming on. White girl want to be on there. They privilege, gives them an advantage to do this. So then now the last event we have got going on is the current event is what's happening in the Bay. This girl is talking to another woman who is just constantly calling her a nigger. Constantly calling her a nigger. Constantly calling her a nigger. Nigger, 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 nigger. Well, now she's been found out. She lost her job.